how to remove the limiting beliefs and blocks in your life. So, as many people understand already, obviously to different degrees, a person always acts according to their identity. Tony Robbins talks a lot about this, other people talk about it. So it's called kind of confirmation bias, that whatever you look for in the world, you find. If you want to find happiness, you'll find it. If you want to find unhappiness, that's why famously people are, as they say, famously, pretty much as happy or unhappy as they want to be. If you want to be locked in the past, you'll be locked in the past. If you want to be locked in the future, in expectancy and hopefulness, that will happen. If you want to find angry people, you'll find them. If you want to find loving people, you'll find them. So Joe Dispenza famously says that your personality becomes your personal reality. He says that your personal reality is an effect of your personality. It's just your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And that's so true. Joe talks about how, I think he says 95%, I don't remember the exact percentage, but of our lives are just repeated habits. That, we do the same activities every day, we see the same people every day, we go to the same places every day. So our brain is not being rewired. We're not growing, we're not learning, because we're just doing the same things over and over and having the same thoughts. So we're basically just reliving our past rather than going into the future. And that's kind of the famous expression, like there's a difference between living 20 years and living 1 year 20 times. You probably know some people that are just kind of stuck on their story. Some people are really kind of evolving their story. Like you meet them and 6 months later, they're a little bit different person. Their identity is different. Some people, you come back 5-10 years later, and they're telling the same story about themselves. So famously, if life is a game, then the key is to find a game worth playing. Like we're all kind of like telling our story. We're all like, sharing our identity with the world. Or as Joe would say, our personality is becoming our personal reality. But what is the depth of your story? What is the nuance of your story? What is the contribution of your story? That, my friend, is something to think about. So how do we remove the limiting beliefs and blocks that we have from our lives? So Aaron Doherty talks about this. A lot of people talk about this, but I like Aaron because some of his conceptualizations really, I think, are more profound than other people. The first step that he says is awareness. You have to be aware of like the stories that you're telling yourself. He also talks about agreements, that we all have agreements. Like we might do things that we don't say we want to do, but there's always some kind of payoff or secondary gain. That's what Aaron says, and I believe it also. That you wouldn't do anything unless you wanted to do it. Just the fact that you're doing it is a definition or an expression of you wanting to do it. Now, it might be like a less pleasant alternative than something else than if you didn't do it, but every action and every inaction is an expression of what you want, who you are, and what you believe. So the first step in getting rid of your limiting beliefs is awareness of what your identity is. And you could get a sense of what your identity is by looking at your life and at your actions. Like if a lot of people are angry at you, then your identity may be, I'm a person who makes people angry, or I'm a person who attracts people that are angry. If you have a lack of money, your identity may be, I have to struggle in the world, or money doesn't come easily, or other people have more than I do, or money is bad. If you are very happy, your identity might be, I'm a person that likes myself. I'm a person that accepts what happens in the world, change what I can, but accept what I don't, famously. And have the courage and the wisdom to know the difference, the wisdom. So look around your world and you'll see what your beliefs are, including your limiting beliefs. I'm a person that can't forgive other people. I'm just using these as examples. I'm not talking about myself. Excuse me, I apologize. I'm a person that forgives people too easily and they take advantage of me. I'm a person who settles for mediocrity. I'm a person that goes the extra mile. I'm a person who, see, we'll always act consistently with our identity. Whenever we tell ourselves, like there's a famous story, Tony Robbins says that there was a beggar, I think it's Tony Robbins, and the person was used to making a certain amount of money a day. I have no memory of what that is, but let's just say $20. And then the person was begging one day, and somebody gave them, let's say, $20 or maybe $50, whatever it was, either as much or more than what they were used to making. And then they just went home. Usually they would beg the whole day or for a certain number of hours, but because their identity was, I'm a person that makes $20 a day, then when they made the $20 or more than $20, they're just like, okay, my day is done. So they call that, in mathematical terms, kind of reverting back to the mean. That we always, Joe Dispenza talks about temperature, that if our life is at 78 degrees, maybe, but our thermostat is at 72 degrees, and maybe 78 degrees means that you're getting more than what you think you deserve or are used to, then you'll self-sabotage. You'll turn the thermostat from 78 to 77 to 76 to 75 until you get back to 72, and then you'll be like, oh, that's perfect. But then, if you like your thermometer at 72 degrees, then when it gets to 66 and you have less than what you're used to or expect, then you'll be like, oh, I don't like this. This is too cold. And then you'll do the different actions, to make money or whatever, to bring it back up to 72 degrees, and then you'll stop. So the way to get rid of limiting beliefs and blocks is to identify how you see yourself. And like Joe Dispenza says, if you don't know how you see yourself, look at your life. Because your life, I'm not saying everybody is born into similar circumstances. Some people have better hands than others when they're dealt, but it's a matter of making the most of the cards you're dealt and then changing the cards. Like they say that the most successful people, look for and find the circumstances that they need. And if they can't find them, they create them. We're products of our environment, but we also shape our environment. James Clear talks a lot about this in Atomic Habits, that, the things that you want to do more of, make them easy to do. If you want to eat more fruit, take it out of the bottom bit of your refrigerator and put it in the middle of the room. If you want to watch less TV, put your couch so that your couch and your bed or wherever you watch TV, your chairs, facing away from the TV. So that you actually have to turn your chair around to watch the TV, or turn the TV around so that you have to turn the TV around to watch it. Anything that's easier. That's why he says habits can be formed in 2 minutes. Not a complete habit, but at the beginning. Like I said, if you want to be a runner, don't tell yourself you're going to run a marathon. Just tell yourself you're going to, put on your running shoes and walk outside. Because once you walk outside in your running shoes, you might be like, oh, I'm already outside, I might as well start running. Or don't say that you're going to have to do 20 reps at the gym of every exercise. Just commit to putting your gym clothes on and driving to the gym and walking into the gym. Once you're in the gym and you see everybody working out, you might be like, I could do a few things myself. I mean, you might not, but just put yourself in situations. So the way to get rid of your limiting beliefs is to become aware of them, become aware of the agreements of the secondary gain, the primary or secondary gain. Like Aaron Doty uses the example, I hate this job, but I love the paycheck. I don't like being told what to do, but I don't like having the insecurity of having to figure everything out myself. I'm kind of paraphrasing him. He doesn't say it exactly that way. But people that are billionaires, they have a certain identity that money flows through me. I'm an expression of money, or I'm creating value. Money is always just an expression of value. And people that come into money either through inheritance or lottery and don't understand that. A lot of times when people come into inheritance, it's they somewhat understand it, but they don't fully understand it. They somewhat understand it because they grew up with a money consciousness in their house, but they didn't actually make the money themselves, so they're missing that part of it, which is a big part of it, which is why money tends to go down generation from generation if it's very, very wealthy, because the later generations do not actually make the money themselves. Like if they're put into situations where they actually have to create money on their own, then they could not only maintain it but expand it. So let me talk a little bit about my life, because I learned this from Aaron Doherty. It's more powerful if rather than just a generic principle. And I'm sorry that I waited until 10 minutes and 27 seconds approximately before I started talking about this, because I probably could have done it at the beginning. But in my life, I've shifted a lot identity. Like my identity used to be kind of like people will do what I want or I'll change them. Not that direct, because I'm hopefully smart enough even when I was younger to realize that people don't change that much. But it's kind of like, I think I did believe a little bit in giving people a cold shoulder, or withdrawing support as a way of kind of like manipulating, let's call a spade. But now I am more of the sense of like letting the energy go. Like if it doesn't serve you, if what another person is doing it doesn't serve you, let me find something that serves me better. So they say that you are really, really, really primed for growth when you get excited by change. And this is kind of like a big thing, because I was never like a big change type person. Theoretically I was, but like I would start to panic a little bit perhaps when change came. And when I started to get a little bit more excited by change, like when I lost something in my life and I like started to think, wow, life has graduated me from that and is giving me something better. Aaron Doherty said something good. He said that like at the beginning, like some people for internet marketing, for like YouTube videos and stuff, they just do like searches of like what people want, which is good because that helps you identify. But if you just go like trendy, like those things are always changing. Some things are more, timeless than others. But what Aaron Doherty said he started doing is he started just said, what do I know? What have I experienced? What can I share that is the most value to people? And that's what I'm trying to do here and in my life in general. It's kind of like, if this person is not receptive to it, is there something else that this person might be more receptive to that is also meaningful to me? If no, are there other people that are more receptive to this type of message? And I think that, like always attracts to like. I mean, some people call it that birds of a feather flock together. So kind of in summary, the way to give up your limiting beliefs is just to become a different person. Because as long as you're the same person and your identity is the same, then your beliefs will be the same. And as Joe Dispenza says, your life will be the same, because your personality, as he says, becomes your personal reality. But in A Course in Miracles, I believe it says that a miracle is just a shift to a higher perspective. It says it somewhere. I think it's in A Course in Miracles, but please forgive me if it's someplace else. But it's true. It's kind of like people try to do things through willpower, and action is important, but it has to be inspired action, because some people are running a marathon and covering 26 miles, and some people are running a marathon, but they're doing it on a treadmill, and when they finish the 26 miles, they're in the exact same spot where they started. That's why they say never mistake activity for progress. Willpower is kind of like being on the treadmill. You're busy all day. It's like some people mistake activity for progress. They're like, I had 10 meetings. I had 10 meetings and I shuffled all this paper. They may not say it that way. I must be a really productive person. But, if they're just running on a treadmill, then they probably just wasted their own time and other people's time. Meetings can be productive or they can be time wasters. So the way to get rid of limiting beliefs and blocks is to become a different person in your life.